Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Shubham and I am an iOS developer. In this tutorial, I'll be showing you guys how to create a 3D rotation transition using the SwiftUI framework. If you haven't tried SwiftUI yet, now is a good time to do it. Don't worry, I'll cover tutorials on both the UI kit and the SwiftUI framework in my channel. Let me quickly show you what we'll create. So we have a SwiftUI to-do app which has some hard-coded tasks for now. We have a navigation button on the top left, and when you press that, the rotation occurs and you see the side menu. And when you press the back button, it rotates back to the main view. Alright then, let's get started with the tutorial. First things first, make sure that you're running macOS Catalina or above and you have Xcode 11 at the least to run SwiftUI. We'll start with creating the new project and we'll choose the new SwiftUI lifecycle. Next, I'll set up the project structure and add the required fonts and extensions. I'll speed it up a little and then I'll tell you what all I did. First, let's add an extension to the color so that it's easier to provide hex-based values. Okay, so I put the files under separate groups to organize them. It helps me to find my files quicker as the project grows, and I use this structure throughout my projects. For managing the fonts easily, I have created an enum. It allows me to apply the fonts with ease, and it also makes it easier for me to change the fonts if I want to. Now let's create a task model that we'll use for the tasks. We'll use a struct named task and make it conform to the identifiable protocol. So this protocol requires that you have a variable named id in your model. Now the data type should conform to hashable, so you can make it a string or an int or any other primitive type as per your requirement. Let's add task name and task completion status as well. We'll also need a mutating function to toggle the completion status. Okay, now let's create a view model named app model and we'll make it a class that conforms to an observable object. We need to make it an observable object so that we can pass it around using environment object, and we can also use it as a state object. Let's create some simple variables to hold the user data. And along with that, let's add some dummy tasks for the app. That's it, we're not going to add a lot of things here. Now let's create the sidebar view. So this view has an image, a back button, some basic information about the user and some action buttons. Let's add the image to the XE assets first. Let's create the required variables. Now for the back button action, we'll declare a closure variable and we'll be passing its value from the parent. Now let's start with the Z stack. First of all, we'll set the alignment to leading and top. Then we'll add a background and we'll use the edges ignoring safe area modifier so that the background color ignores the safe area. Let's add a VStack now. We'll put our views inside it. Let's add some padding to it. We'll also use the leading padding that we declared above. Now let's add an edge stack and we'll use it for the image and the back button. We'll need to use the resizable modifier so that we can resize the image. Let's add a frame of 100 by 100. Let's clip the image to a circle and then we'll add an overlay. So let's add a button now. A button takes in an action and an image. And let's use the SF symbol for the image. So let's put our button action that we declared above. And let's add the modifiers to the SF symbol. Let's use the overlay modifier again to add a stroke to the back button. Let's add a V-stack for the texts. Don't forget to put the alignment as leading. The default is center. Let's add some top padding to the V-stack. Now let's add the subtext. So let's have a look at the action buttons first. An action button has an image and a text. So let's quickly add a button, and for the image let's use the SS symbol. And now let's add the text for the action name. Add the required modifiers to it. Now we need 3 more buttons. Instead of writing or copying these lines of code, we'll create a subview. So it puts your lines of codes in a separate view. Let's add some variable for the button image, button title, and the button action. Now we have a generic subview that you can freely use within this or any other SwiftUI project. Nice, isn't it? So let's add a V-stack and we'll add the 4 buttons inside it. And we are done with the sidebar. Let's create the task row view now. We will need a variable for the task. So let us take a look at the task row first. It has a checkbox and a title. Add an edge tag with a spacing of 12. In the button action, let's call the toggle status that we wrote for the model. We'll use SS symbol for the image, but there is a slight change here. Here we are checking the completion status of the task, and depending on that, we are changing the image. Now let's add a text view for the task name. Let's add the font modifier. Here we are using the color multiply modifier, and depending on the task completion status, we are changing the color to green or white. Let's add a spacer to push everything to the left. Let's create the navigation button now. So this view contains 2 rectangles inside a button. Here we have the line width, smaller line width, color, and button action for customizations. Let's add a V-stack and we'll put the 2 rounded rectangles inside it. So before we start working on the main view, let us talk about the rotation logic first. So in the app we have 2 views, and when one of the views is displayed, the other one gets rotated by 90 degrees. So it would mean that each of the views have 2 states, show and hide. So let's create a file named rotation for handling these states. We'll put all the possible states inside an enum. Now let's have a look at the values that we'll need to achieve the rotations. So we have 2 views, right? We have a main view and we have a sidebar view. When the main view is visible, the sidebar view is hidden, and when the sidebar is visible, the main view is hidden. We'll need to add 4 enum cases. We'll need to add show first view, hide first view, show second view, hide second view. So let's see what all values do we need to handle for the rotations. First of all, we need rotation degrees. Yes, we need to rotate the views 90 degrees. And since we are rotating the views vertically, we also need to specify the y-axis, and we also need to specify the anchor point for the rotation. The rotation occurs with respect to the anchor point. The default is center, and lastly we need an offset value to move the other view away. So that brings the required value count to 4. Let us create a variable named rotation values, and we'll have it return a tuple with the 4 values for each state. Let me complete these and then I'll explain them to you guys. Okay then, the default state of our app will be show first view for the main view and hide second view for the sidebar. The values returned by the function are in this order: degree, offset, anchor and axis. Okay, coming to the enum cases, show first view has no degree and offset. It has a leading anchor and a positive y-axis. Hide first view has a 90-degree rotation and it has an offset of the device's width -48. -48 is present to make the main view partially visible even after rotation. The anchor and the y-axis remains the same as the show state. Hide second view has 90 degrees and a negative offset so that the view is hidden. It has a trailing anchor as the main view has a leading anchor. It also has a negative y-axis so that the views rotate inwards and not outwards. The show second view has a 0-degree rotation for it to be visible. It also has the same -48 offset which we provided in the above case. The anchor and the y-axis are similar to the hidden state. Now when you press the sidebar button, the states are changed. We change the show first view to hide first view and the hide second view to show second view. And when you press the back button on the side menu, the state of the first view goes back to show first view and the second to hide second view. And with that, we now move to the main view. Let's add some variables first. An animation duration of 0.75 seconds and a variable for an instance of the app model. We need more variables to store the values of the rotations, but we'll do it at last after creating the UI. Let's add a Z stack and a background. This background will be visible when the rotation is underway. We need another Z stack for the sidebar view. Pass 48 as the leading value and we'll add the logic for the rotation inside the button action. We need one more Z stack for the views. Let's set the background to black and add the edges modifier. Let's add the V stack and a padding of 24 to it. Let's add another top padding of 24. Now we need to add an edge stack and inside it we'll put the navigation button which we created earlier. Okay, looks like we forgot to add the foreground color to the navigation button's V stack. Let's quickly add it. There we go. Let's add another V stack with a leading alignment and a spacing of 12. And then give it a top padding of 12. And let's add our two text inside it. Let's add another V stack with spacing for the text and the tasks. Since we have already declared the variable for the app model, we will use for each to display the tasks array, and inside a loop, we'll use the task row that we created earlier. Let us hardcode the color scheme for now as dark content and we'll add a small padding. Let's quickly see if it works. Nice. Alright, we're done with the UI now and all that's left is to integrate the rotation enum. The default states are show first view and hide second view, and since each of the enum cases returns 4 values, we'll need to create 8 state variables. We will name it first view degree, first view offset, first view anchor and first view axis, and initialize them to the values from the show first view. Let's copy these values and rename them to seconds. This time we initialize them to height second view. Now we'll add the rotation modifier to the views and we'll use the state variables inside them. Let us add the rotation 3D effect modifier to the main view Z stack. Add first view degrees, first view axis, first view anchor, and add an X offset. Let's do the same for the sidebar view and we'll just change the values from first view degrees to second view degrees, second view y-axis, second view anchor, and we'll change the first view offset to second view offset. Okay, with that done, now we need a function for updating the state variables based on the rotation states. For the rotations, we need to change the values of the state variables. We need to do it when the navigation button or the back button is pressed. So let's create a function and we'll add two input parameters which will be enum cases and we'll update our state variables based on that. The state 1 updates the values for the main view and the state 2 updates the values for the sidebar. So instead of changing the values for the state variables one by one, what we have done is we have put them inside a parenthesis and then we are directly unloading the values from the tuple. We now need to call this function for the rotations. Let us add these to the button actions that we left earlier. Let's add the rotation to the navigation button first. We'll use the with animation block for the animation, set the type to easy in out, and provide the animation duration that we declared above. Let's call the function and pass the state 1 as hide first view and state 2 as show second view. By doing this, the values for the state variable changes and you get a nice transition. Oh yes, we need to add the edges ignoring safe area to the main Z stack as well. Let's add the back action for the sidebar. This time we pass show first view for state 1 and hide second view for state 2. And yeah, we are done with the UI and the rotations. Let's run the preview and see how it looks. Okay, so let's modify our sidebar view a bit. Let's add the scale effect modifier to enlarge the image. Also add the frame modifier to split the name into two lines. Cool, it's working as expected. So that's it for this tutorial guys. I hope you liked it, and if you did, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. You can also tell me what kind of animations you'd like to learn next in the comment section. I'm just getting started and I have lots of animations that I love to share. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.